Halloween, the infamous slasher film franchise that gives horror fans a glimpse into the eyes of pure evil.
Everyone knows the character of Michael Myers. He's a classic cinematic villain.
But while most people watch Halloween for the scares, a Texas teenager draws inspiration from Michael Myers' emotionless carnage.
They both felt like they were drowning. And the only life raft, the only lifesaver, was to kill.
But this teen will soon discover that real life doesn't unfold like the movies.
Jake took a gory movie that he watched and turned it into a real-life horror story.
Nobody suspected anything amiss with Jake. He just seemed like a normal guy, and that's why it was so shocking.
For this copycat crime, the killer's own confession is scarier than any Hollywood horror movie.
I just killed my mom and my sister.
What? What was interesting that this family lived in this gated community that was supposed to be designed to protect them, but danger lurked right there under their roof.
In 1978, John Carpenter releases a slasher film titled Halloween. The movie creates an iconic Hollywood killer by the name of Michael Myers.
In the original Halloween, we've got an elusive killer who you don't really know much about, never speaks, just murders people. And that's frightening.
At the time, fans would have never believed that Michael Myers would go on to appear in 9 more Halloween films after the original installment. But it's a Rob Zombie remake of Halloween 29 years later that gets everyone talking.
The main differences between Rob Zombie's 2007 Halloween and John Carpenter's original film would be that there was a lot more gore, nudity, and blood.
Like in the original film, Michael Myers has an insatiable desire to kill his family.
For the first part of the movie, we see he is targeting his family, and we see the motivations as to why. And then from there, he goes on to murder everyone in his path.
Audiences can never quite grasp why Michael Myers is so angry with the world. It's the same feeling Parker County, Texas has after Jake Evans commits an unspeakable copycat crime.
For everybody else, that's what the movie was, entertainment. But for Jake, it was something more. It was his inspiration to kill.
Parker County 911, where is your emergency?
My house.
What's the emergency?
I just killed my mom and my sister.
What? How did you do that?
I shot him with a .22 revolver.
Are you sure they're dead?
Yes.
It's hard for us to wrap our brain around a teenage boy who kills his mother and sister. Because we think about our own families. If you're not safe with your own family, then who are you safe with?
It was like everything went wrong. I've never, done anything violent in my whole life. I don't know. I'm pretty, I guess, evil.
Well, you just take a deep breath. You'll be all right, Jake. Jake, what I want you to do is walk outside, but when you're walking through the house and outside, stay visible. When you open the front door, put your hands up in the air. Just walk very slowly and walk outside, but keep your hands visible. All right, sweetie?
At the scene, police have no idea what to expect.
There's a common myth out there. Everyone says look out for the quiet ones. At the end of the day, there were very few signs Jake appeared to be leaving that would have led anyone to think that he was capable of anything even approximating this.
He gave himself up without a fight. It's almost as if he realized what he had done as he snapped back into reality. At that moment, he was the only one that truly knew what had gone on in that house.
In October of 2012, with Halloween just weeks away, high school senior Jake Evans admits to a heinous crime.
Interestingly, once Jake is in custody, he's completely cooperative.
Jake, can you tell us a little bit about what happened today?
I guess.
I want you to start from the beginning, Jake. We want to know everything.
Don't leave anything out.
Okay. I just got home from the allergist and from having lunch when I started watching Rob Zombie's Halloween. In the movie, a 12-year-old boy murders his stepfather, his sister, and his sister's boyfriend. It was like the third time this week I had watched it.
The repeated viewings leave a lasting impression.
I was amazed at how at ease the boy felt during the murders and how little remorse he felt afterwards. I was thinking it'd be the same way when I killed someone.
Hey Jake, what are you doing?
Can't you knock?
He sees something in Michael Myers that he feels that he can identify with. Michael Myers was having problems with his family. He felt like they weren't good people. Jake Evans also started to feel like his family was not an exemplary family. He felt like they were treating each other unkindly, and he didn't like that. It bothered him.
It's hard to comprehend why Jake is so frustrated with his family. The Evans household resides in a gated community, and they appear to be an all-American family.
This family had a stellar reputation. On the outside, they seemed like church-going people. They were warm. The mother, Jamie, adored her children. She instilled in them values. She wanted them to know the importance of keeping a good public image.
Like a young Mike Myers, Jake seems like an innocent boy.
Jake was very even-keeled. Was a very normal, natural teenage boy. Not particularly aggressive, enjoyed playing golf, was respectful, courteous, homeschooled by his mother and father, and friendly and on good terms with his younger sister.
But the Evans family has no idea that the movie Halloween has provided Jake with a reason to kill.
After I was finished watching, I put the disc back in its case and threw it in the trash because I didn't want anyone to think that it had influenced me in any way.
Something turned at that point, that in that film, strangely enough and tragically enough, he found some sort of not only inspiration, but also solution.
As a psychologist, you want to make sense of something that appears to be so senseless. That's the only thing you can do when you see something this tragic, this horrific, when the killer is basing his motivation on watching a film.
Is there any reason that you were so angry at your mother and your sister?
It just kind of happened. I've been kind of planning on killing for a while now.
Why?
In 2007, director Rob Zombie reimagines the slasher classic Halloween, a franchise most famous for its vicious serial killer, the infamous Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is one of the most well-known cinematic villains. Michael Myers just murders anyone in his path. In the first part of the movie, we see he's targeting his family.
It's the same hatred Texas teen Jake Evans has for his own family.
There's something about how Jake perceived Michael Myers in Halloween and how he was killing without emotion, completely heartless, because he hated his family. And he truly was without emotion. But for Jake, he somehow saw that as the key to kill his family.
He's watched the Halloween remake 3 times in 1 week, and now he's inspired to commit a copycat crime.
Lots of people love horror movies, slasher films. They're a lot of fun. And most people take it that way. But there are a few people who have been known to take those movies and use them as a basis for their own crimes.
Jake Evans seemed to be having an ordinary day.
Oh, yes. I've been needing one.
Went back outside to swing freely with my golf clubs.
While Jake's father is away on a business trip in Washington, D.C., his mother and sister Mallory are enjoying the luxuries of their estate.
Okay.
The Evans lived in a beautiful mansion. It was a 5-bedroom, 5-bath home. It was outfitted with an oversized pool, beautiful grounds. There was enough space for everybody to spread out and feel comfortable.
But there is trouble behind these mansion walls.
A pattern you might often see in a wealthy family is that of sort of a superficial presentation that everything is just fine, a hiding of the flaws, especially if that family's very well established. Jake held some very negative thoughts about his family's worldviews. He felt that his parents, his grandparents, and his sisters were all becoming or were racist and bullies. And in fact, he carried that characterization about the world, feeling that the world was full of racists and bullies, and that he really himself was tired of it.
Jake's frustrations with his family and the world are the same as Michael Myers in Halloween. And since Jake has watched the film 3 times in 1 week, he decides to create a horror story of his own.
And then I went back in and sat on the couch and thought about how I was going to kill my family. My plan was to kill my mom and my sister in my house, and then go to my grandparents' house across the street and kill my other sister and my 2 grandparents. Then I would wait till morning when my oldest sister was coming home from college and kill her too.
Come on, Jake, I apologized like 1,000 times. When are you gonna forgive me? Fine, have it your way.
Jake's tension with his sister Mallory stems from an incident earlier that day.
Jake had an appointment that day. He had to go to see the allergist.
Did you see the way she kept looking at me?
Who?
That lady. She was gross.
And why was she gross, Mallory?
Because she was dirty and disgusting.
And why was that?
You know why.
It's because she's black?
Keep your voice down.
What the hell is wrong with you?
According to Jake, he said that his sister made a negative comment, a racist comment.
How can you think that about
It
somebody?
was just a joke. Okay, I'm only kidding.
Mallory's comments remind Jake of a scene in Halloween.
In Halloween, Michael Myers' sisters was one of the big reasons why he was taunted in school. She was crass and vulgar, and ultimately, he grew to hate her. And that's why he decided that she deserved to die.
The movie Halloween is becoming all too real to Jake Evans.
Jake sees his sister, Mallory, just like Michael Myers sees his sister in the film Halloween. Doesn't try to rationalize with her, doesn't try to educate her, doesn't try to work with her. He just has rage and anger directed at her.
You're becoming white trash, you know that?
What's that supposed to mean?
You heard me. Look up the word lynching and see if you think that's so funny. You make me sick, Mallory. I can't believe you. You're nothing but a stupid racist.
People who know Jake, they say that he was a very calm individual. He wasn't somebody who exploded. No one ever saw him do that. But this particular day, he is just enraged.
There is no evidence that Jake ever had serious issues with his sister prior to this exchange at the allergist. Throughout the day, Mallory makes many attempts to reconcile with Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Go away, Mallory.
Will you at least watch a movie with me? Please?
No, go away. So that night, when she asked me to watch, I said no because of her racist comments. So while she was in her room watching, I went to my parents' room and I grabbed my dad's knife.
Jake believed that he was a cold-blooded killer. Jake believed that he was Michael Myers from the film Halloween. This was his reality. that his family must die.
Rob Zombie's 2007 remake of the horror film Halloween brings a greater understanding to the legend that is Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is iconic and known for two things. One, the white mask. And the second is the large kitchen knife.
But for high school senior Jake Evans, it's Michael Myers' ability to kill without emotion that makes him so inspirational.
Jake confessed to killing his mother and sister because they were becoming, in his estimation, bullies and racist. And then he connected it to having seen the film Halloween throughout that week.
For those closest to the Evans family, Jake's opinions of his family are largely unfounded. But that isn't stopping him from giving the full story.
Mallory had made racist comments before in the past, and I scolded her for what she said, and I told her she was becoming white trash.
You're nothing but a stupid racist.
Mallory has tried to apologize to Jake by asking him to watch a movie with her.
When are you gonna forgive me?
Go away. I paced back and forth in my room, thinking about killing Mallory. Thoughts of causing her pain kept entering my mind and really bothering me.
It's similar to Rob Zombie's Halloween, when a young Michael Myers walks into his sister's bedroom completely unnoticed.
In the movie, Michael Myers sneaks up on his sister with a mask and the knife, and you know she's going to die. You don't know when, and everybody's just waiting on the edge of their seat. It's a lot of suspense. When is he gonna kill her?
Jake Evans is the real-life Michael Myers. It's like he's living the scene from the movie. Jake doesn't need to wear a mask because he wears a mask every day of his life. The mask of a nice teenage boy. And that mask hides the true evil that lurks within.
God, Jake. You scared me to death. What are you doing? Are you still mad at me? Look, I'm sorry about earlier. I didn't realize how bad that joke was. Look, I'm just a stupid kid. And I'm learning. From you. I love you, Jake.
The intensity of the moment is all too real for Jake. And it's getting to his head.
Did you still want to watch a movie?
Yeah.
I took a seat on the bed next to her. I just sat there with a knife in my pocket, debating whether to kill her right then and there.
She has no idea that he's thinking of taking that knife and stabbing her to death with it.
Come on, watch the movie. Jake.
just when he thinks he might do that, something happens. And he decides to hit her with a pillow instead.
I playfully threw a pillow at her to, I don't know, to get some of my rage out.
The pillow fight wasn't entirely random. It appears that what Jake was doing was perhaps using the pillow fight to get things ramped up and then be able to pull out the knife and commit the crime.
But Jake finds himself conflicted.
Jake wanted to stab his sister. He wanted to kill her with a knife. But he couldn't do it. There was too much emotion connected to his sister.
When I started to think, if I did kill my mom and my sister, I wouldn't want them to feel any pain. So I decided to kill them with a .22 revolver I'd stolen from my grandpa.
I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
He didn't want her to suffer the way Michael Myers' sister had suffered after being stabbed multiple times.
Jake knows the time has come to kill his family.
Started pacing back and forth again, just thinking about what I was about to do. Thinking about how my life would never be the same.
He has an opportunity to turn this around. He has a chance to put the gun away and not do this. But he goes a step further.
Mallory, Mom wants you downstairs.
Yeah, give me a sec.
She wants you now, Mallory.
In Rob Zombie's 2007 remake of Halloween, a 10-year-old Michael Myers uses a kitchen knife to brutally murder his sister and stepfather.
When we've seen Michael Myers in the past, we see him just on a path of destruction, killing any and everyone that he crosses paths with. Whereas in this movie, we see he has targets, it's his family, we see the motivations as to why he's targeting his family, and it just changes what we know of the character.
In Parker, Texas, 17-year-old Jake Evans hopes to murder his family just like Michael Myers.
My plan was to kill my mom and my sister in my house, and then go to my grandparents' house across the street and kill my other sister. And I would wait till morning when my oldest sister was coming home from college and kill her too. Finally, I went out into the hallway, stood there for about 5 minutes, and knocked on Mallory's door. Mallory, told her my mom needed her. Mom wants you downstairs.
Yeah, give me a sec.
She wants you now, Mallory. She came out and saw me pointing the gun at her. She thought I was kidding.
Jake, what are you doing? Is this a joke? Jake, stop. You're really freaking me out.
Jake's mother hears the shots and runs toward the stairs.
Mallory! What was that? Oh my God, Mallory! Jake! Jake! No!
This is not some madman from the street. This is your son with this gun, and he's coming for you.
In that moment, he realized, oh my God, what have I done? He had killed his sister. There was no going back. Jake should have realized that killing is killing. Whether you kill a person with a knife, or you kill a person with a gun, or whether you poison them, it's the same thing. You're killing, with or without emotion, and there are consequences for killing. He didn't seem to be aware of those consequences.
In shock, I ran to my room and started thinking about what I had done. How I had just killed my mom and my sister. I unloaded the gun onto the bed. This is really gonna mess me up.
Jake finally realizes why Michael Myers could kill without emotion. Because it was a film. It wasn't real. It wasn't reality.
I heard a noise. And I realized Mallory was still alive. I loaded the gun back up as quickly as I could and I ran to Mallory. I told her I was sorry and I shot her in the head. I shot my mom in the head again to make sure that she was dead.
But Jake has more family members he wants to kill.
Jake had had plans to kill his entire family, and his grandparents lived next door where his other sister was. It would have been very easy for him to go ahead and go next door and finish out the rest of it.
The 2007 release of Rob Zombie's Halloween isn't just another sequel in another endless horror franchise.
Rob Zombie gave Michael Myers a purpose and a motivation for his actions, which makes him more horrifying. No one knew who Michael Myers was going to kill next, which made him that much scarier.
For 17-year-old Jake Evans, no one could have predicted that he would kill his own mother and sister. And Jake has more family members on his list.
He had every intention of going across the street and killing his grandparents and his sister.
He stops, for whatever reason known only to Jake. But it's really chilling to consider how close he was to continuing to kill the rest of his family who was just next door.
Jake decides that he won't follow through with his original plan.
Once Jake had killed his mother and his sister, his plan changed. He had emotion. He couldn't go on killing, so he's not about to go across the street and kill his sister and his grandparents.
Jake goes back inside his home and calls 911 to turn himself in.
Concord County 911, where's your emergency?
I just killed my mom and my sister.
Are you sure they're dead?
Yes.
Is there any reason that you were so angry at your mother and your sister?
It just happened. I've been planning on killing for a while now.
Why?
I don't know. I don't really like people's kind of attitude. I think they're very verbally rude to each other and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's just my family. I don't know. They're just kind of really. I guess this is really selfish to say, but to me, I felt like they were just suffocating me in a way. I don't know.
When I look at people, especially teenagers, I see how they're just mean and cruel to people emotionally. It seems that their favorite hobby is just to belittle people and make them feel bad. I saw in my family, I saw these traits in them too. I thought that they were becoming the people that I hate.
You don't want to hurt yourself, do you?
Just to let you know, like, I hate the feeling of killing someone. I'm gonna be messed up. I'm, like, really worried about, like, you know, like, nightmares and stuff like that. I don't mean to sound like a wimp or anything, but, you know, this is... wow. I've never, like, done anything violent in my whole life, you know?
You don't sound like a violent person. No, you don't. Just take a deep breath. We have deputies coming, and they're going to help you. We're not going to hurt you. Are you okay, Jake?
I'm just thinking about my sister.
Yeah. How old is she?
15.
I love you, Jake.
She had a really sweet side, but, you know, she was kind of racist and, I don't know, kind of rude to me sometimes.
Yeah.
For, I guess, future reference, I don't really want to see any of my family members, you know, like it, and visiting or whatever. I don't know how it works or anything, but I just don't want any type of visitors.
Jake, my officers are almost there. What I want you to do is walk outside, keep your hands visible. All right, sweetie?
All right.
And I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What happened last night will haunt me forever.
Thank you, Jake. You've been very cooperative.
I know I'm guilty, but do you think they'll still give me the death penalty?
I don't know, Jake.
After his arrest, Jake is sent to a mental institution while he awaits his trial. It's just like his idol, Michael Myers.
Once Jake was taken away, he has refused to have contact with any family members. He has refused to speak to psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers. He has refused to ever reveal what was actually going on in his emotional brain during the time that he killed his mother and sister.
He doesn't want mail from his family. He doesn't want contact with his family. And just like Michael Myers, he's spending all of his time alone.
Mr. Evans, what is your plea with regard to count 2 and count 3?
Guilty.
And you're telling me that voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
During the trial, he pleads guilty to the deaths of his mother and sister and is sentenced to 45 years in prison.
He had no history of criminal behavior. He had no history of violence. He had no history of deviant behavior. It's shocking that someone with no history or background in murder could kill his sister and mother.
Aside from his original confession, Jake has refused to talk about the events of that day.
He chooses to be silent, which is odd because you know that you're not the stone-cold killer that Michael Myers was. Yet, it seems like the story continues and he's still emulating Michael Myers.
When we look at a story like Jake Evans, it makes us all reflect on the fact, particularly we as psychologists, that we wish we could predict the future. And a tragedy like this particular story only reminds us that no matter how much we really do think we understand about the human mind, there's a lot more mystery there than we could ever imagine.
Jake will be up for parole in 2035.
When his parole comes up, the big question is going to be, what's the next chapter for Jake Evans?